We have coming up Shirley Richards. When you go online and you look up this issue in Jamaica, Shirley Richards' name keeps coming up. And I heard her name in Poland and I almost jumped out of my seat, you know. She's an attorney at law and a Christian lobbyist and a mother in Jamaica. She is the former president of advocacy group called Lawyers Christian Fellowship. And so I'm going to ask her to take a few minutes and to share with us about what's happening in Jamaica. Over to you, Ms. Shirley Richards. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you, Mrs. Weeks. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. The problem is you have me coming right behind Andrea Minikiela Williams, and that's a hard act to follow. I just want to say that Andrea has been such a source of encouragement when I think that she's standing in hostile England. You know, just thinking of that and thinking of her courage and all that she has been able to do in terms of just raising up a witness to the gospel within aberrant England, within decadent England, and standing firm there. I think it has been just amazing. So we thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you so much. I became aware of, when I heard what David Cameron said in 2013, that they now have all that is necessary in order to export same-sex marriage to the rest of the world. That just angered me. Really now, as a former colony of Britain, no thank you. We do not want to be recolonized. And so we object to that. We object to that. We have what we consider to be a good way of life that leads to flourishing. No thank you, sir. No thank you, current Prime Minister of England or of the United Nations. We will hold on to that which has worked for us. And that which has been rooted over all the years in the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we will hold on to that. As I heard of what has happened in Barbados, my mind went back to the Bain saga. You know, Andrea said something which is very critical. Sometimes what happens is that the others engineer a change in the culture. And this sometimes involves pulling of freedom of speech. Freedoms of different types of freedom of religion, you know, but so you see it happening and then it becomes hard law. So I'm just want to share just a few minutes to remind us of what happened in Jamaica in 2014. Some of you might know of it, some maybe not, but let's go. So here's Professor Brendan Bain, a nice gentleman, very mannerly gentleman, quite a gentleman who was employed at the University of the West Indies, assisting with their HIV/AIDS program. What did he do? So I'm taking this from the court case. So Brendan Courtney Bain, the claimant, is a medical doctor and professor who served as director of the Regional Coordinating Unit of the Caribbean HIV/AIDS Regional Training Chart Initiative at the University of the West Indies, Mona. By way of letter dated the 20th of May, 2014, the Vice Chancellor of the defendant purported to terminate the claimant's contract as director of chart on behalf of the defendant being the University of the West Indies. So the claimant, being Prof. Bain, contends that this termination was a direct consequence of his having complied with an order of the Supreme Court of Belize in the matter of Caleb Orozco versus the Attorney General of Belize, the Orozco case. An order of the court, he had been appointed by one of the experts on behalf of the church, an interested party in the matter, and as such, he had prepared and submitted his expert report. So what happened is that after that, some groups got together. In fact, we have a letter in which a number of the groups in the Caribbean wrote to the university basically saying, how is it that you still have Professor Bain at the university? We no longer want him there. We no longer want him as a director of the chart program. The vice chancellor gave in to the demands and fired him. What was our response? And we could have reasoned all sorts of different reasoning, but we realized it was a moment. What did we do? Okay, we had 6 weeks of demonstrations at the headquarters of the universities, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. In fact, he was fired on the Monday night. Tuesday morning, we were up there at the University of the West Indies. Then there were letters to the editors. We made something of it. You know, we didn't just allow it to pass just like that. We did something about it. Some of us there, so we were dressed in black, most of us, and we had tapes over our mouths, just indicating what we thought was happening, in that one is no longer allowed to speak truth. Some of us there at the university, at the gate, we continued this for 6 weeks. Even Belize, I think this picture is from Belize, they also had demonstration there. What happened at the end of 6 weeks? Oh, here is a letter from Dr. Lass Newman. This letterhead written to the editor, just a portion of it, and I'm just including a portion of it just to show you that there was support from all over. He was then president of Caribbean Graduate School of Theology. Incidentally, I keep remembering that the first theological college in the West Indies was established in Barbados. Wasn't that so? Codrington College in the 19th century. But anyway, so we have known Prof. Bain as a man of utmost integrity, a careful scientist with measured views. He has served a variety of public constituencies well, and in recognition of his outstanding contribution to the Caribbean community in the field of public health as a professor of medicine, the Caribbean Graduate School of Theology made him a distinguished fellow of the school in 2009. We therefore stand by Prof. Bain 100% and pray that this evident miscarriage of justice will be redressed by the university in the interest of natural justice, the pursuit of truth, and the resistance to tyranny and oppression in all its forms, and from anywhere which the university has inculcated in the peoples of the Caribbean since its inception in 1948. We are concerned that the outcomes of this case will affect the delivery of education in all our institutions of learning. Let me just pause there and say that to my mind, a lot of what is happening to us as a Caribbean is coming through our own University of the West Indies. That's what I'm thinking. That's what is happening. Not the only channel, but I think it's a major channel. So after 6 weeks, there we in the halfway tree. The press said it was 25,000. Others said it was nearer 50 to 60,000 of us. After 6 weeks of protest, we at the gates of the university, it was decided that we needed to have a mass protest at halfway tree. Gosh. Then Professor Bain decided to take his case to court. And I'm now quoting from the judgment. So this is Justice Paulette Williams. Regardless of the view taken of the testimony, there can be no dispute that it was a form of expression. I note that the claimant certified that the report represented his own opinions based on his professional experience together with information from research literature related to the matter under consideration. He attached to that report articles from journals that help to guide the opinions expressed in the report. So Prof. Bain took his case to court, and this is a portion of the judgment. Guess what? He won. So, paragraph 134. It seems to me that there needs to be no evidence of ill will or malice for the eventual dismissal being viewed as punishment. Once the dismissal can be viewed as being because of the giving of the testimony, then there has been a violation of the claimant's right to express himself freely in the matter he did when giving the report he was called upon by a court of law to give. Having already found that the termination of the claimant's contract was due to his giving the export report, I am satisfied that in terminating his contract for that reason, the defendant breached the claimant's right to freedom of expression. No, friends, I don't know if you understand this. This is the University of the West Indies breaching Prof. Bain's right to freedom of expression. Whatever happened to academic freedom, an academic privilege where one was able to speak one's mind based upon one's research and professional opinion? Whatever happened to that? But the university, through our own university, threw all of that aside and breached Prof. Bain's right to freedom of expression. So some lessons, and this is my last slide. I'm saying to us all, we need to be alert. We need to understand the times. Our Caribbean way of life is in jeopardy. And I'm saying that moments come to every country. And for us, that was a moment. And I'm thankful to God that we recognize it. Could this be a moment for Barbados? You must decide. Be courageous, be peaceful, explore all avenues of redress. I'm so glad that Professor Bain took his case to court. And then in the end, to remember, the battle is the Lord's, not ours, you know. I'm grateful. Andrea Williams keeps reminding me of that it's the Lord's work, it's the Lord's battle. So thank you all very much. That is all I had to share with you. We all need to be alert. We need to understand the times. What Andrea shared, listen, it's not alarmist. It's happening in England. And these people are intent on exporting their decadent philosophy to us as Caribbean people. It's another form of imperialism. It's cultural imperialism. And what has been done to Praise Academy, it's all a part of that, part of getting the society to think differently about the issues. Is that what you want as Bajans? Thank you all very much, Mrs. Weeks. That's it from me. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Ms. Richards, and thank you for what you do in the Caribbean. It's really inspirational to think that, you know, here you had 6 weeks of protest, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., letters written to the editor, you know, and then ending up with 25,000 people, and you were Christian people doing that. I didn't know that Christian people could protest and could march, and you didn't see the situation as just something that happened with Professor Bain, but you did realize that this was a moment. And I bet you they're going to think twice to try that again in Jamaica. And I'm really hoping that for all of us here in Barbados, all of us Bajans listening, that we will see and seize this watershed moment. I really am. I'm hoping that. I'm really hoping that.